I
Is that kind of
definitely,
like a money thing? Is that kind of what that comes down to, or no?
not really, just like a control, more like control and that kind of thing, just like weird boundaries not even not being established, but just being over, just crossed over constantly. And it's a whole thing for sure. And that again, it sucks because I was friends with these people before, but now like I can't separate that from what happened. And I definitely would never. They could come to me tomorrow and be like, "Okay, we got $1 million for your next movie," and I'd be like, "No way, not worth it." You know. So so I was kind of done. I was like, "That I cannot do that again. It took too much from me. I don't even. I'm proud of this movie, but at the same time, I never want to hear about it again." Which sucks because we worked pretty hard on it. People do like it, but how it is. And so I don't remember what convinced me to apply for this grant that Houston was doing for artists. But I thought, if I don't apply, I never get stuff like this. But if I don't apply, I'll be mad that I did. Just like a film festival, you don't want it. You're like, South by Southwest is never going to accept me, but then you'll regret it if you don't try to enter. And so I applied and got it. And so and I was like, well, damn, I guess I got to make a movie now, you know? So but because it was grant funded, it was just me. It was my crew at the most was 4 people, me and 3 other people, making it at the pace I wanted to make it, doing what I wanted to do with it.
Is that what the grant afforded you to do? Like
Yeah.
you didn't
Yeah.
have to do, hey, we're doing it all in 10 days and then we better get it all in.
Right. Yeah, we did do like a chunk of that because we had Angelo down and Fishbone was starting to tour again and stuff. And so I wanted to respect his time and Debbie's time and get them down and get their stuff shot. So we did like a chunk of, I think it was like 7 or 8 days. And then the rest we kind of shoot out on the weekends because everybody else in the movie is either Houston or Austin local or Dallas. So they'd come down for a couple of days and shoot. And the grants enabled me to kind of stretch it out and do it when I needed to do it. And then in addition to the grant, we did, I think, 2 Indiegogos, which gave us a few $1,000s more, just extra. So I didn't have to come out of my pocket so much. So yeah, but I mean, those grants funded about 85% of the film.
And you're working another job through this,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
a day job, just a
Yep.
regular.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing, well, 2 actually, because I do like, my day job is I do production for a corporation, and then I was doing a lot of contract stuff that I picked up because I have another friend who was one of the crew members on Inbetweening, Brittany. She was doing a lot of corporate video stuff, but then she got hired. She got her certification to be a special effects supervisor, like for like squibs and bullet hits and like that kind of thing. And so she went to work on The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead because it was shooting here. And so she's like, hey, I have all these clients I don't want to leave in a lurch. Would you take them? And at the time, I was like, well, we need extra money for the movie. So yes, absolutely. So I stacked those things. So even then I'm like workaholicing and, like doing those 2 things and the movie. And so, yeah, I was constantly working. And that
So
again,
your other job has been, for the most part, in the field that you quit being an engineer for to
yep.
go into filmmaking.
Yeah, this whole time, even before or when I was doing Walking Distance, I was a video production manager for the Girl Scouts. So like for several years, like they eliminated that position. And that's kind of what left me in the lurch. That's when I had to start delivering pizzas and stuff. That's the in-betweening stuff. But yeah, this whole time, if I had a job, except for that one that I hated, because that was just like data entry kind of cubicle stuff, it's been video production stuff.
Does it ever get to be like a little much? Like, because for the past previous year, like I worked at a job creating content for them. So there was a lot of video editing. And then I would get done, I'd start working on my own stuff. I'd be like, man,
Yeah.
the computer again.
Yeah.
Did that ever or do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, I would get fatigued pretty often just from looking at Premiere or whatever, just like I cannot do this. Like I wouldn't have an aim. And it was really difficult when I was doing post on Mystery Spot, because like I said, I got that other job right when we greenlit the movie. So So it was tough because I would edit for work all day, and then those producers were on me. They would want a new cut, like even though it's during COVID and like nothing is really happening, they'd want new cuts and changes like every week. So I'd have to, at the time, I'd actually rented out an office for myself so I could really sequester myself and sort of force myself to edit. That kind of worked, but even then, I'm like, I can't do this. Like I gotta step away for a little bit. So it did get kind of tough. Inbetweening, I was a little more excited about the whole process, so I was a little more driven to do it, especially when we get like new animation in, or new, like Angelo would send me a new thing, or the song got done. Like there was something always pushing me to to light a fire under me to get it finished. But it was a struggle for a long while.
So for future projects, is your plan to go the grant route, or have you even thought about that? Like
I
like
haven't I haven't even thought about it, to be honest, because I don't this was the last script I had that was sort of like in the hopper that I hadn't made yet. So I don't even know. I've been doing a lot of like reevaluation to where I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to do anything? Like there's just nothing that's sparking me to do it. And thinking about what it would take to do it, like it would probably be the grant route or self-funded, maybe a Kickstarter or whatever, but even that sucks, because that's like a job, you know, and we've been kind of successful at it, but not super successful. So I wouldn't want to rely on it. But just thinking about that stuff kind of, again, takes the wind out of my sails. So there has to be an idea that comes along where I'm like, I have to make this, or it's something I have to exercise, like some demons I got to get out of me. It's got to be something like that, like Inbetweening was and Mystery Spot was.
do you ever think about, like, because for instance, like we made like the first death toilet, I want to say, in like 5 hours. And literally, like
Yeah,
I'm saying, now that movie's done way more than I put so much money into Schuster and Levine and all these other
right.
films previously. Like, do you ever think about going like the micro budget, low, shoot a film in I mean, you don't have to do a few hours, but let's say you did it like over 2 8-hour days on a weekend. Do you ever think about going that
I,
route, or is it just not, it's just not your thing?
I have thought, because since, like I said, Fade to Black was kind of that. I
Yeah,
have,
that's what I got me thinking about.
yeah, I have entertained it for sure, and sort of thought about like what can I do that would work, and like maybe even like long take kind of stuff, because we did a little bit of that in Inbetweening. I mean, I faked it with cuts, but the POV part, we tried. I was like, let me just see if I can pull this off. So I've thought about. I have entertained the idea of doing something like that. I just don't have. I don't have the idea yet that makes me want to, but it's definitely something I'm open to, for sure. For sure, something I'm open to.